What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the MattManPadres podcast on the new YouTube channel. I've done many episodes, but this is the first one on this new YouTube channel, so I'm going to call it episode 1. So this channel is just going to be basically the podcast talking about everything NBA, NFL, MLB, and college football. That other YouTube channel is going to be more towards topics regarding the Padres, Seahawks, and those kind of teams. But this one we're just going to talk about everything in the sports world. First, we're going to talk about Dak Prescott. We're going to talk about why I don't think a deal is going to get done, and if he could make Patrick Mahomes type money, if a deal does get done. Second is going to be what the Seahawks need to accomplish to get Russell Wilson to stay in Seattle. Third is going to be how good are the Cardinals, can they compete? And we may talk about the Wizards also. But let's just get straight into it. So Dak Prescott is looking to be paid as much as Patrick Mahomes, just pretty much Patrick Mahomes money. And I think this is I don't know where that is. He's not going to get paid $500 million, but he wants to be around there. So he definitely wants to be the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I don't really think this is going to happen for Dallas, at least, because it just doesn't seem like Dallas is willing to pay him. Now, for the reason, I have no clue what the reason is. He should be paid, given the history of Dallas and who they have paid and who they haven't. They pretty much paid everybody but Dak Prescott. And I think Dallas is a very good team with Dak Prescott, but they're not without him. And I think that was proved in 2020 when they went through like 4 quarterbacks, and none of them did even close to decent, even with the star receivers. So, I definitely think they need to get a deal done, but I don't know. It looks like the deal's moving into a productive state. But I mean, there is a deadline, and if they don't meet that deadline, that means that Dak Prescott will not get a deal done, and that could lead to a trade. So I think he should, in my opinion, I don't think he should play for the Cowboys just because of everything that goes on with the Cowboys. They're always in the news, and it's a lot of the times in a negative way, because they are the most recognized team in the NFL, and that could be a positive thing too, but I just don't think Dallas has treated him the way a lot of other teams could, like the Washington football team, the Patriots, who need a quarterback. I definitely think those are better spots. I think he needs to go somewhere with, in terms of how his offense is, I think it's very good with the good receivers and the O-line, who is a lot of the times hurt and very old players. So we'll see what happens. But I think the defense, the Cowboys really don't have a good defense, and, I just don't think they're going to win, even with Prescott, any sort of Super Bowl or meaningful game. The Washington football team, it definitely would fit Dak Prescott. I think if he went there, and if, they brought in some old linemen, they have a good receiver, maybe brought in another one. Their defense is already very good. They held the Patriots to like 21 points in the playoffs, so I think that's a very good fit. The Patriots, I think, is a good fit just because you're playing with Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, but I don't think there's many weapons. I think Cam Newton will come back for another year. I think that's the best option unless they want to go out and trade for a Dak Prescott, who, maybe they could orchestrate a trade with Stephon Gilmore in it. I don't know if the Cowboys need a cornerback as much as Stephon Gilmore, but it would be nice. The Seahawks obviously make sense because of the Russell Wilson thing, but I just need to get out of the way. He's not getting traded this offseason, so, I think next offseason is when we can legitimately talk about a trade, but this offseason is not going to happen just because $39 million cap hit. And I just don't think that the Seahawks are even considering it. So I think Russell Wilson is more considering it than the Seahawks. I don't think the Seahawks are at that point to where they really consider a deal to happen. But I think that, if they could get a deal done, it would be a lot of money. And, in terms of trading for a guy like Deshaun Watson, who even knows if he's going to be traded? I think Dallas is a sleeper team, maybe. But I don't think the Texans are necessarily looking for that star player like Zeke. Zeke wouldn't even, nobody wants Zeke, first of all. Or DeMarcus Lawrence or Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb. They're not really looking for that. I think they're looking for draft picks, so maybe 4 first-round picks. I think that's what they should aim for instead of like a star player. The Seahawks, on the other hand, if this was next year or next off season, would be looking for that. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. I hope he succeeds because I really think he's a very good quarterback. Now let's get into the Seahawks and what they can do, what the Seahawks can do to make Russell Wilson a happy camper in Seattle. So I think number one is show that they want to win, and that would be signing Corey Linsley. I think he's the top center on the free agent O-line market. I don't think it's time for experiments because that's what the Seahawks have been doing. They've been signing these old free agents, and it just doesn't work out. It's not getting better. So I think I think Corey Linsley. Gabe Jackson was just cut today by the Raiders. He could be an option. Trey Smith in the draft. Very good O-lineman from Tennessee. I think they should look to O-line in their first pick, which is in the second round. I think Trey Smith will be around, and I really hope they can get him. Just showing that commitment because they are in a tight situation with money. So I think signing Corey Linsley would really help. Another thing is do not trade any star players. Tyler Lockett, who's been in rumors because Metcalf's going to get a contract extension like next year, the year after. Don't do that. That's just going to make him upset. Even though it may make sense, I just don't think it makes sense at all. Do not trade him because, you've got the receivers. I think go get a tight end. Gerald Everett, Jonnu Smith, Zach Ertz. I think Jonnu Smith is a very good option. They have not had much productivity from the tight end. They still have Will Dissly, but Will Dissly's like a pass blocker or a run blocker. And then I think just, keeping that defense, don't make any decisions that's going to make you worse. It may free up money, but just, maybe cutting Carlos Dunlap is something I could see, or restructuring. Jaron Reed, only good defensive lineman, so I don't really think that's a good option. So, showing that commitment, I think they should meet with him and ask specifics. Is there a certain alignment that you like? Is there a certain thing on the defense you want? So, Corey Linsley, Gabe Jackson, Trey Smith in the draft, not trading Tyler Lockett, not trading Quandre Diggs. I think that could do it. To make him pleased going into 2021. And I think making it past the NFC Championship is a very big thing. I think just making it past or getting to the NFC Championship. Obviously, you want to make it past there to the Super Bowl, but just showing him that you can win, and you're not going to get a first round exit again or a second round exit again. Showing him that you can have that because it's gone downwards ever since Super Bowl 49. So I think those are the things they need to do, the improvements they need to make him happy and make him say, you know what, okay, I think I do want to be here. Let's say they don't do that, and they get a second round exit next season, next year, season, whatever, not 2021, but the 2022 season. Then that's definitely a point where I could see him requesting that trade. And just because a trade is requested does not mean it's going to happen. I don't think it's happening this offseason, not just because of the $39 million cap hit, but just because the Seahawks just are not considering that right now. They're not rebuilding. They've signed Pete Carroll to a 4-year, 5-year extension, and Pete Carroll's not here to rebuild. He's here to win. So, I just don't think they're going to consider it. If they do, we'll see where teams are at. I mean, the teams that are on his list right now could mean nothing because really it doesn't make much sense why the Bears are on his list with the terrible offense they have. Okay defense, but I mean, bad offense. The Raiders, who just don't win, in terms of getting to the playoffs. So, maybe it just doesn't matter. I think the Seahawks should look for 3 first-round picks, at least. And I think one of those first should be a good high pick to get a quarterback. Because you definitely should go the rookie quarterback route instead of signing some veteran to a 1-year deal that may not work out. You're just wasting seasons there. So that's what I think should happen if they do decide to trade him. I don't think they will, though. So, do the things that make him happy. And, you're in a good spot for at least 3 years until his contract is up. We'll see what happens then. But I think regardless, Russell Wilson's camp's very aggressive. They're going to get the best for him. And it could backfire. It could help. But I think, regardless, they're going to be looking for the best option for Russ. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what they do, and that's what they're going to do. If they don't win the Super Bowl. If they win the Super Bowl, I don't think there's a way he can get out in a good way. I just think it would be hate for Seattle. And if he wanted to get out after winning a Super Bowl. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think. So now let's get on to the third topic here, which is the Arizona Cardinals. They just added jjwatt. The real reason, we'll talk about the real reason he signed there later. But the Cardinals signing jjwatt, they're a very good team now. They're young in a lot of places. They've got Kyler Murray. They've got Hopkins, who's not necessarily young, but Budda Baker, Isaiah Simmons, who had a very good end to the season. But they are in the toughest division in football, in which you got the 49ers, who are going to come back healthy, the Seahawks, who are always a contender, the Rams, who have proved that they're going to be a contender, and then the Cardinals. So I mean, this could be a division where every team is, at the end of the year in running for the playoffs. So, it's going to be hard for him, but I think, adding jjwatt helps a lot because we don't know how he's going to play. I'll get into that later, but they're not a Super Bowl team. That's just it. This deal only makes sense for one reason, which I'll get into. They're just not a Super Bowl team. It kind of reminds me of Seattle in a way. If you compare two good quarterbacks, two good receivers, Hopkins, Metcalf, but bad O-line. No really good tight end production. Defense is pretty good. But I think they're just, they're not there at all. So I don't really get this decision, but I think they could be one of those teams like the Titans were in 2019, where they can make a decent run, but beating these on top teams that are really good and have been good, I don't see it happening. So could they be a contender? Definitely for the playoffs. I didn't think 2020 they would make the playoffs. This is the year that, they could definitely make the playoffs. So basically what I think the real reason jjwatt signed, I don't think he signed because that's his best option. I think the Colts were his best option, or the Browns. But, I mean, one, he is not going to be double teamed as much because you got Chandler Jones on the other side. And two, it's the money. He signed a big contract, $20-something million for 2 years. And I don't think the Cardinals will win a World Series, a Super Bowl in 2 years. So I definitely think the money talks, and the money talked in this scenario. And he's getting paid a lot more money, and he's going to be happy with it. He could, personal success. He has a big chance at it because he's not the only guy on that defensive line. You got Chandler Jones there as well. But Super Bowl, which I thought he would chase. I thought the Bucs would be in contention just because he wants that Super Bowl. But this is a 2-year deal. Maybe we'll see what happens. We'll see where he's at. Maybe his value goes up. Maybe it'll probably go down. But I think money talked in this deal, and I think he got a good deal for himself. And in 2 years, when he's at the tail end, maybe he'll sign with the team, whatever team it is that's at that time that is that team that is probably going to win the Super Bowl. Right now it's the Bucks. That's where most veterans are going to sign to win a Super Bowl. But, he didn't do it here. And, applauds for that. He didn't take the easy route. He's trying to take the hardest route. Obviously, you want to win a Super Bowl. I don't think this is the best option, though. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about all these topics. I appreciate you listening to the first episode of the MattManPadres podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.